And Nitro's Garage for all your automotive needs. Call 646-675-2349. That's 646-675-2349. For all your automotive needs, Nitro's Garage. Ask for Jack. That's right, folks. Canine Corral. For all your dog daycare and overnight care, call 631-549-1544. That's 631-549-1544.
Monday. Yeah, it's Monday morning right now. And the WrestleMania festivities are over. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. Now, you're going to get my opinion on a couple of things. And I don't have the full story on a lot of things because I didn't watch WrestleMania. Because I refuse to waste 4 hours or 2 days or 100 days or whatever it felt like. There's only a couple of things that I cared about, and those are the things that I got the highlights on, and those are the things that I'm going to speak about. I don't have the full scoop, like I said, so I'm going to tell you what I know and how I feel about that. Now, let's start with the Hall of Fame. I thought that The Undertaker, we'll start with that one right there. Thought that The Undertaker's Hall of Fame speech was unbelievable, man. He's a very down-to-earth, kind of modest kind of guy, you know what I mean? I like him a lot more now, man. You know, I always loved the Undertaker character, but the guy behind the character is really seems like a great guy. And, everything that he said was very, very touching, you know what I mean? It was bittersweet because, of course he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. He has for a long time. And, the ending was great with him putting the stuff back on and him saying you never know or whatever, or never say never or whatever he said. But the only problem that I have with that is that, it's like he put his stuff in the middle of the ring a couple of WrestleManias ago, and then he came back and did WrestleMania again, and then he put it back on and said you never know. So it's kind of like, it would have meant more if it was like, one or the other type of deal. So anyway, loved that. Loved the Hall of Fame. I only saw some of the Hall of Fame nominees, and little bits and pieces of it because I only watch what I feel like watching. You know what I mean? I only watch what interests me. I'm sure you guys saw the rest of it. You don't need my opinion, but I'm going to give you my opinion on the things that I did see. I saw parts of the Shad Gaspar Warrior Award, and I saw that his son was out there and his wife, and for some reason I didn't catch the part with JTG. Is that right, JTG? JTG, yeah, that's it, right? Anyway, I don't know, why do I feel like I'm saying that wrong? Anyway, and I should know because I know him from down at OVW. I've actually wrestled him. But, good guy, always liked him. JTG, right? Yeah, always liked him, but I guess I didn't see the full clips because I'm going by basically things that were put on social media and some of the things I didn't see, or some of the things I saw pictures of and not videos, and some of the things I saw bits of the videos. Some videos don't play for some reason on my Facebook. So there's a lot of things that's one thing that I want to check out the full video of, and I'm afraid that it's going to get me emotional because I knew Shad personally, and it's a very sad story, you know what I mean, of why he has that Warrior Award, and he's very well deserving of that Warrior Award. And so I look forward to watching the whole ceremony for him. Again, bittersweet, man. It's like, I'm sure that he's looking down and he's real happy that he's in the Hall of Fame. That's everybody's desire. But for him to be in the Hall of Fame with the circumstances the way that they are, I'm sure that he'd rather it be a little bit different. I'd like to see JTG come back to WWE because he is a hell of a guy and a hell of a worker, and he's still out there busting his ass, and he's been out there for a long time. He was down there. I was down at OVW in 2005 to 2007, and he didn't even have a contract at the time when I was down there. He later on got signed. Same thing with Beast. He was down there without a contract at first, and they both kind of came together and did this crime time thing, and it worked, and brought them up, man. Got them both signed, brought them up, and good for them. But I'd like to see, now that JTG kind of popped up on the scene, it'd be nice to have him kind of out there and representing his partner. You know what I mean? Every time people see him perform, it'll be like, like a tribute to Shad. So I'd like to see him back, even if it's just, for a little while. I think he deserves it, and I think it'll be great for the fans. So you never know. WWE does things like that. Hall of Fame. Vader. Never been a Vader fan, but definitely deserves a spot in the Hall of Fame. More so for what he did outside of WWE. Didn't exactly have the greatest run in WWE. Had some problems over there, getting along with some people. But nonetheless, he was in the wrestling game for a very long time, everywhere. And it did have some high-profile matches around the world. So, of course, he belongs in there a lot more than a lot of other people, and I'm going to get to that in just a minute. Let's see, who else was in the Hall of Fame? I didn't see, they didn't air a lot. I didn't see anything about Sid, man. I don't even know, did they still induct him or what, man? There was no mention of him that I saw. So, again, the whole thing wasn't aired on, social media. It was aired after SmackDown, and I didn't watch the whole thing. Actually, the whole thing probably wasn't even aired because it would have been hours and hours and hours. Would have been another 4-hour ceremony like WrestleMania itself. But I'm sure eventually I will catch it. It'll be up on YouTube, and then, next week I'll elaborate a little bit more on WrestleMania, because there is a lot to cover, and a lot of it I have not seen. So I'm not going to cover things that I haven't seen, obviously, because that would just be ridiculous. Sorry, I'm drinking my coffee and my vanilla unsweetened almond milk and a scoop of chocolate protein. Good stuff. Sharmell. Sorry, man. A lot of people are going to give me shit for this. Doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame. Just like Nikki Bella, just like Brie Bella. What have you, I mean, I'm not going to say what have you done, you know what I mean? But it's supposed to be like a Hall of Fame for legends, and there's people that are just kind of dropped in there. And it's very obvious that people that are just dropped in there are the wives or girlfriends of certain people with a certain caliber of pull, and that doesn't look good. Charmel did a great job as Queen Charmel. Booker did a great job as King Booker, and but is it Hall of Fame worthy? No. You know what I mean? I don't know if, people look at it like the way that I do, where it's like, hey, if you got enough pull, you could get your boys into the Hall of Fame, or you could get your girl into the Hall of Fame. Harlem Heat was a great team. They did a lot of things. But again, Stevie Ray was never even in the WWE. You know what I mean? And I think that if it's the WWE Hall of Fame, then maybe it should only be people that were in the WWE, but that's my opinion. Because then there are people that were in the WWE that are in the Hall of Fame that don't belong in the Hall of Fame whatsoever, that's never done nothing. It's kind of like Andrew Anderson doing absolutely nothing in the wrestling business, but yet people are still booking him and he's still out there. I don't know, man. That's like an unsolved mystery, man. That's like the biggest secret of wrestling that I've ever heard. Yeah, but some people are good manipulators and make people believe that you're something when you're nothing. Just gotta throw in a little dig once in a while, man. That's what I do. And if anyone's got a problem with it, come see me, man. No problem there. You know what I mean? I'm available to talk at any time. Yeah, just be careful of the madness. Now, who else is in the Hall of Fame? Who else, man? I don't even know. Maybe we'll get back to that when I remember. And if I ain't mentioned it, it might not be worth remembering. So we're going to move on. WrestleMania. Night 1. Yeah, Night 1. What do I remember hearing about? What am I going to talk about? Well, first thing I'm going to talk about, let's talk about Cody. Let's talk about Cody making his way back to WWE, which, to be quite honest with you, surprised me, man. I thought it was all a bunch of talk. I thought it was all a bunch of rumors that were being started to kind of throw things off a little bit. I especially thought that it was not true because it was out there so much that people were talking about it. And if it was really supposed to be a surprise, I figure that it would be a surprise, if, wrestling fans have a way of finding things out. There's, dirt sheets and reporters and this and that, whatever. But if something is meant to stay quiet, they could keep it quiet. Nobody knew anything about Triple H's condition, that he was, not doing well, and that he came real close to not making it. Nobody knew about that because they were keeping it quiet. You know what I mean? So it's true that you can keep things from getting out there. But, I think they were purposely trying to build up, is he coming, is he not coming, whatever. So I was very, very surprised when he did show up. I was very surprised that he came back to WWE. I have mixed feelings about him coming back, but only he can understand what he was thinking and make it make sense to him. I got I got a better idea of where his head was at as far as coming back after WrestleMania and that press conference that he did. And I could totally understand him wanting to come back and, win the big one. And, for his career, for himself. Everybody wants that big one. And, the only thing that I don't understand, and I do understand why he left, that it seemed like he was never going to get the big one, where, what they were doing with him was pretty much, garbage with that Stardust thing and everything. And every other idea that they had with him wasn't working either, man. They just kind of like, they didn't let him do what he wanted to do. So he left and he did what he wanted to do. And he helped build AEW, which was great for the business, you know, just in a whole, it was just a great thing that happened for the business. And, you could tip your hat to Cody for having something to do with that, for sure. So, that right there, man, that was great. But it doesn't make sense that he started, he helped start AEW, basically as a, partially as a jab to WWE, with all the jabs that he took at Triple H with the throne and the I believe there was other things that he wore something on his tights that said something like game changer, or game over, or game, something. And to find out that Triple H was actually his favorite wrestler, that really surprised me. That it was his favorite wrestler, but yet he was really like, throwing digs at him. And if it was like, if that was all for, his gimmick, and it was all, for getting over, then, hey, man, cool. Then it's like, you do promos and you cut promos on people who are your favorite because it's part of your character. It's part of your gimmick. It's part of what you're doing to get yourself over. So honestly, it worked. So maybe we were all just fooled that, he was just doing what he needed to do. And he's a very smart guy, and very well spoken, by the way. And again, I like Cody. Knew him personally. I think I've actually had a couple matches with him at OVW, some tag matches or something. Him and Sean Spears were a tag team, very successful down at OVW. I'm just a little confused at. I guess he must have, had a good conversation with Vince and agreed to a lot of things, because I don't think he would have came back without, becoming, letting him be himself and hoping to become. See, they agree with me, man. All right, hold it down. I'm doing the thing. There ain't no editing here, man. I'm live. Well, that's not true. But, the fact, I was really, really, really surprised that Cody wanted to come back because of the way that he left. But, after hearing that press conference and the meeting that he had with Vince and, with Triple H and everything else, it does make a lot more sense to me. And, I can't blame him. And I'm kind of proud of him for, he left. He said, I'm going to make I'm going to become a bigger star somewhere else. And then he came back. And I guess the only, I could actually put more heat on WWE for kind of like, it's almost like a slap in their face, or not a slap in their face, but like, basically what I'm trying to say is that, they did nothing with him. They basically try to embarrass him with these bad gimmicks and stuff like that. And he said, I'm out. And he went and made himself a big star. And then all of a sudden WWE's like, oh, wait, now we want you back. Now that you're able to make us money. And I know business is business, and they're both going to make a ton of money. And that's what business is. And Cody is very, very, very smart, because I'm not sure exactly how old he is, but he's very young. I mean, he was a kid down at OVW. And that was 2005 to 2007. And he's still a young man now, and he's smart, though. He said he wants to get out. He's not guaranteeing it, because, it's hard to get out once you're in. It's you get bit by that wrestling bug. I'm an idiot and still want to do another match, even though I could hardly move today. But that's what happens. But he's smart by saying he wants to be out by the time he's 40, before he starts to feel the effects, and I'm sure he already is. But the top guys in wrestling, even the guys that love it, that did very well, will tell you, you get in and you get out. You know what I mean? It's a rough business. You make as much money as you can, and because who wants to stay on the road and live that lifestyle and beat your body up any longer than you have to? I know that it's a passion thing, and that it's hard to quit that drug of being out in front of a crowd, but you gotta be smart. And a lot of guys weren't smart, and they stayed too long, and their bodies are definitely paying the toll. And then other things start to play a factor, where now their bodies are so beat up, so they start taking a lot of stuff, and then they die early, and blah blah blah. And it's not a good situation. So Cody is very smart when it comes to the ins and outs. If he gets out at 40, cool, man. If he stays to 50, I'm sure he can do it. Look at his brother. You know what I mean? His brother's in great shape, man, and still going. And a lot of the guys, man, Billy Gunn is close to 60, and he looks unbelievable. Jericho in his 50s. These guys seem to be reversing time, and a lot of it is because of DDP, to be honest with you, man. I mean, there's other factors, when you got that kind of money and your career depends on it, you're able to get the stem cells and the growth hormone replacement, for anti-aging and injuries and stuff like that. So you get the best doctors and everything, and so that you could continue your career. There's nothing wrong with that. But if he wants out when he's 40 to enjoy his family and, enjoy his life off the road and everything else, man, then, smart. Do what you got to do, man. If you could do it, because it's hard to get out. Once you get in, it's hard to get out. And I'm speaking from experience, too. That, I try to pull myself out of it many, many times. And one of the first times was even way before I went to OVW. And then when I left OVW, I said, that's it. And then I came to Vegas, and wrestling found me, and I did that. And then I said, that's it. And I moved to LA, and wrestling found me. I don't look for it, man. It actually does. It comes in, it creeps up on me and finds me and pulls me back in. But it's been a few years now, so I think I'm all right, except for the fact that I see these guys that are older than I am and definitely have had more injuries than me, and they're still going. Edge is another one. The names go on. And that is a great segue into Stone Cold Steve Austin being 49, is he? And looks better than ever, man. I don't know why he didn't take his shirt off, because, he's leaner and big, looked great. I didn't see the match. I heard about some of the bumps that he took, and I saw the pictures, and I saw a couple clips here and there. That is one that I'll watch. I saw the ovation. I saw the pop that he got, and when that glass shattered, man, it was 1998 all over again. And one thing to be said about that, man, is I'm not a big WWE fan anymore. I used to be die hard, man. Whether I was a fan or I was as a wrestler, that was the place where you wanted to be, man. That was the highest that you could go, especially in the Attitude Era, man. Everybody wanted to be a wrestler, and I was a wrestler at that time, just starting out. But you know, it's almost sad that the things that people are talking about the most about WrestleMania, number one, Cody, he's a guy that came back from the past, not necessarily back, in the way that when you think about the biggest ovations of the night and the biggest deals and the biggest, besides Cody, what people are talking about, Stone Cold Steve Austin coming out of retirement, which is great, but it's very, you got to bring a guy in that was, whose last match was 19 years ago and has declined many, many times to come back. He had to have been paid a lot of money and he had to have wanted to do it. And, and that's his, he waited until he was ready to do it. Me personally, everybody knows, not a big fan of Kevin Owens. I would have much rather seen Stone Cold, have a match with somebody else. I feel like, in my opinion, I know Stone Cold likes Kevin Owens. Otherwise, he wouldn't have done it. He gave him his finish. He's cool with him. Everything's cool with him. And, he probably wanted to do it with him. Me personally, I feel like what a waste to come out of retirement to wrestle that guy. And to see a guy face to face where you got a guy that was a big mega star 20 years ago and he's face to face with a guy who's supposed to be a mega superstar now, and the guy who's like 20 years older than this guy is in better shape and is more over than this guy will ever be. And there's just something about Kevin Owens that irks me. Get some wrestling gear, man. I mean, come on. Get yourself in a little bit better shape. Get rid of the farmer's tan. Give a shit about the way that you look. I don't care if people think he could work or he can't work or he could do. I don't think he's good on the mic. I don't think he's good at anything, and that's my opinion. And if you don't like it, too bad. But wouldn't mind seeing Stone Cold kicking the shit out of him and make him believe that it was real. I just feel like, if Stone Cold was going to come back, here's my playing Booker, you know what I mean? The Rock's eventually going to come back and have a match, probably with Roman Reigns at some point. They've been talking about that, and that's great, man. I would definitely want to tune in to see that because I think The Rock is a hell of a, an entertainer. But just imagine if you're going to do it, man, if you're going to have Stone Cold come out of retirement, why not have him wrestle the guy that was his last match 20 years ago and have them both come back and have a rematch 20 years later and really blow the roof off the place? Who wouldn't want to see that? WrestleMania would sell out the way that it used to sell out. And they're talking about that this was the biggest WrestleMania, the biggest, biggest attendance and the biggest money-making WrestleMania. And correct me if I'm wrong, but they say that every single year. And there's no way that that this WrestleMania was, the biggest one. There's no way. I mean, there's a lot more people complaining about the other matches on the card, which I won't even mention because I don't know. I won't even watch them. They're not interesting to me. The Stone Cold thing, night one, definitely going to check that out. Stone Cold night two, coming out, doing the whole thing with Vince. Unbelievable that Vince was in better shape than half of his roster at 76 years old. Can't take a stunner worth of shit. Never could. I was there at Madison Square Garden when he took the first stunner ever, and that was horrible. You'd think after all these years he'd, practice that a little bit. But anyway, he got the point across, and the crowd went nuts. And the match itself, with McAfee and whatever his name is there. I didn't watch it, might watch it just because I heard it was really good. I don't really understand the hype around this McAfee guy. I don't know who he is. I just learned that Rip Rogers trained him at some point back years ago. Didn't know he was a wrestler, thought he was a commentator. But again, I don't watch. If I watched every week, I might know what I'm talking about, but it doesn't matter because I'm not going to do that. Have no interest in doing that. But I still do have a passion for wrestling, obviously, and I do this podcast, and I do my own podcast on Thursdays, the Motch-cast. Check it out on YouTube. Shameless plug. And I'll probably be talking a lot more about WrestleMania on Thursday, because I'll probably learn a lot more, because Dennis is my social media guy, my info guy, my website guy, and pretty much a partner in the Motch thing that I do. And he fills me in on details and sends me clips of things that he knows that I'll have an interest in, and doesn't bother to send me things that I really don't care about. So it's cool like that. But I will have to check out what the big deal was about this Pat McAfee or whatever his name is, because all I ever saw of him was an annoying, obnoxious commentator dancing up on the table when his favorite wrestler came out, and that just was, I guess, Vince liked it. Vince thought it was entertaining, but then again, Vince thinks a lot of things are entertaining, and, But he did have a good idea by bringing Stone Cold in and him going out there and doing the whole beer thing, and, I didn't see Vince's match. I don't really know the whole story with that. I know Pat McAfee had a match. I saw some of the clips. He's very athletic. I was impressed with some of what he did. Some of it, his moves were impressive, but some of it looked very choreographed and, waiting on spots and kind of looking like a deer in the headlights and stuff like that. So I don't know how long he's been working, but I do know that if Rip trained him, that he's got some credibility. And I will have to go and watch that whole segment, because from what I understand, it was a match with Pat McAfee, and he wanted a match with this other dude, and then Pat McAfee challenged Vince, and Vince comes out, and I don't know. I got to check that whole thing out, man. But that is one thing I'll check out. So that's one thing. Both of the Stone Cold segments, obviously, I want to check out. I might check out the match with Johnny Knoxville, only for entertainment, just to see how goofy it really was. From what I understand, from the things that I saw, number one, Sami Zayn is another one that I can't stand. Looks like a homeless person, and whether it could work or can't work, I have no interest in looking at a guy that looks like, a guy that I could hire to mow the lawn. I don't see any room in professional wrestling or entertainment whatsoever for anybody like that, unless they're in Hollywood and they're an extra, trying to make it in a profession that they're no good at. But and yeah, he's a great wrestler. He's been around the world, and wore a mask and called him generic and generico, whatever, which just goes to tell you that he's so generic that they had to put a mask on him and name him Generico, because he's so damn boring to look at. Never was a big fan of his, but, again, that's my opinion. I like what I like, and what I like is superstars, and those guys, to me, aren't superstars. Stone Cold, superstar, you know what I mean? There's a lot of guys I can name that are superstars. There's a lot of guys that I can name that are Hall of Famers, and there's a lot of guys that I can name that don't belong in either category. Yep, that's right. I said it, and I mean it. And it is what it is. But, I did like the show Jackass. I watched it a lot, but I think, like a lot of wrestlers, man, sometimes it's time to kind of pack it up. And, I saw some of the clips, and it just looked really, everybody knows that wrestling is entertainment, but there are certain things that you do that just make a complete mockery of it, and things like that, like Wee Man, picking up Sami Zayn and slamming him, which he had a pretty good slam. Slam's better than some of you guys on the indies and some of you guys in WWE. But to me, it just looked like, from what I saw, just looked like a ridiculous episode of Pee-wee's Playhouse or something. You know what I mean? But for comedy purposes, I'll check it out. I don't know if it definitely shouldn't have been a WrestleMania thing. You know what I mean? I could have seen that on a Raw. I could have seen that on, some one of the internet shows or something. Some goofy thing. Never did watch the Jackass Forever. So, I just kind of felt like that would have been. I don't know if it was good or not, but I kind of felt like. Again, they're kind of like, it's almost like coming out of retirement and trying to do something that, you used to do, holding on to something that you should have let go of after the last Jackass movie. Because it started to, I guess maybe the older they got or the less creative they got, the less entertaining it got in my eyes. So, but that's something that I'll check out just for shits and giggles. You know what I'm saying? There's a couple things that I didn't see, which I'm gonna see. I do want to check out the Edge and AJ Styles match. That's definitely something that I'm sure was a good one. How could you go wrong with those guys, really? So I can't speak about it until I'm able to check it out. What else? I'm trying to think. There's no other, I know the other matches. There was, what's his name? Almas and Bobby Lashley. It's like, I don't know, Bobby Lashley was up here and then he got injured, came back sooner than he should have, because he didn't want to stay out. He was a top mega star, and now it feels like he's down here, and that doesn't even seem like a WrestleMania match. And from what I understand, it was nothing to, I didn't hear much about it, so that means there was nothing nothing to write home about. The other matches, the tag matches, this, that, I know The Miz teamed with some other guy that's irrelevant in my world. Don't care. So like I said, man, some of these things, I might be skipping through, but that's only because I'm only speaking about what I want to speak about because it's my damn show. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's the perks you get when you're a big time. Yeah, but trying to think of what else. What else do I want to discuss about WrestleMania? The things that I know about it. I know somebody got injured, tore a quad. That was a tag match. Not really sure. Nothing about that. Don't care. Ronda Rousey and Charlotte. Heard a little bit about that. Ric Flair putting it over like it was the greatest match in the world. But he says that about every match that his daughter has, and people think that Ric Flair is that's a real unpopular decision. That everybody's like, Ric Flair is like the GOAT, the greatest wrestler of all time, and everything. Hey, this has nothing to do with WrestleMania. This is just my opinion. Never been a Ric Flair fan. Never been entertained by him. Never thought his matches were even good. And that's just that's coming from a fan's perspective, and it's also coming from being a wrestler. See, I can make opinions like that because I was a wrestler. And when people that are fans make a reference about whose wrestling is good and they should have done this and that, and they're playing booker or they're playing producer, or they're talking like they know about what good wrestling is, and they're That's something I've been seeing on social media and people, saying, predicting what they think happened and this happened and that happened and oh, they should have done this and whatever. I mean, I understand it's opinions and I got my opinions and some of it is as a fan, some of it is, a wrestler. Because I'm still a wrestler, I'm just not in the ring. You understand? I'll always be a wrestler, obviously, or else I wouldn't be doing this podcast right now. But it's not even the opinions of people. It's like people speaking as if they know things. And there's things that people could only know if they've been in the wrestling business. And these people are not. So, it's one of my pet peeves when it comes to wrestling fans. Don't speak as if you are a wrestler. Don't use wrestling lingo. Don't use wrestlers' real names. And just don't make believe that you're a wrestler. Just because you carry around a replica belt on your shoulder doesn't mean that you've done anything in the business. So be a fan. And don't speak like you're, you know what I mean? I don't go into an office and speak like I'm an executive. No, I don't, because I don't know, and neither do you. Yeah, how do you like that? Don't like it, don't care. Yeah, it's my opinion, and my opinion matters because I could see it on both ends. You know what I'm saying? I've been a fan, and I've been a wrestler, and I've been everything in between. Yeah, And now I'm an impersonator, so I could do everything. And, by the way, just to throw in another shameless plug, I also do stand-up comedy, and we'll be doing stand-up comedy tomorrow night in Las Vegas at Wise Guys in full gimmick for the very first time. I've done comedy before. I did it last week, did a different gimmick, wasn't Macho Man, and people were saying Macho Man anyway because they seem to think that I look like him regardless of whether I'm in gimmick or not. Which is kind of odd to me because I don't see it, but other people seem to see something that I don't see, and that's cool with me because that just means that I'm going to make some money doing what I do. Now, that was a caffeine-fueled rant right there, but trying to think of what else happened. What else happened at WrestleMania? Might have to continue this on Thursday on my podcast when I remember. Maybe I should have wrote down a couple notes. But then again, you guys should be sending me in questions and asking me, and then that would remind me, and then I could give you my opinion. Maybe you guys don't want my opinion. Maybe you guys don't want to send in questions. I've been saying it, but nobody listens to me. Yeah, I'm only the most important man in the world. I'm just standing here with the belt. Remember that? Man, I'm really drawing a blank here, man. I don't really know what else happened at WrestleMania, man. That's worth, I really don't know. I am really at a loss here. I mean, maybe that's the only stuff that I remember. Maybe there's a reason for that. Let's talk about this. Night 2 started off with Triple H, and I do want to watch that for sure because I was a big Triple H fan. I am a Triple H fan. There's things that I heard about him as a person, but that's, the business is very cutthroat, and I think he just learned how to do business, along with the rest of the guys in the clique. They were all successful. They all made a lot of money. And unfortunately, in the wrestling business, you can't be a nice guy in the wrestling business. You can't be there to make friends. You can't be there to, you got to be there and kind of be selfish, man. So, whatever, that doesn't matter. But, Triple H had to retire. Everybody knows because of heart issues, and we're very fortunate to still have him with us because a lot of people have not been that fortunate, and he's smart enough to get out. It must not be easy for him to get out of the business because he really does live and breathe the wrestling business. He's still very much involved. He's back to work as an executive, and he'll probably hopefully be running NXT again, and they could go back to 1.0 because from what I understand, that 2.0 is the absolute shits. And not that I know what 1.0 was like because, but I did hear that it was a lot more over than Raw at times. So, but it's again bittersweet. You're not going to see him in the ring anymore. He was pretty much winding down, and he probably would have liked to have done something in WrestleMania other than retire. But it's kind of nice that he did kind of get his WrestleMania moment and retire at WrestleMania and leave his boots in the ring, and say his goodbyes. And from what I understand, he had his daughters with him, which is something that kind of brought his own his real life into the mix, and walked in as a wrestler. Retired and walked out as a dad and a husband, and hopefully he'll have many, many, many years of happiness and health with his family, and hopefully I do think that he'll do some fixing up of WWE. Hopefully, some of the decisions that he has made in the past, I don't exactly agree with, but then again, I can't argue with whatever he decided and whatever, he knows better than I do. But, in my opinion, he was hiring a lot of these indie darlings, and I guess that's what needed to be done at the time. But, he was real big on, Kevin Owens, and he was real big on Sami Zayn, so I have to imagine that he was having some mental health issues at that time. But, Seth Rollins, man, there we go. There's a name. I do want to watch that match with Cody because I did hear that it was a very good match. Cody's a very good wrestler. Seth is a very good wrestler. They go way, way back. And definitely, I have not watched Seth Rollins. I understand that his new gimmick is quite different from what he was originally doing, and I'd like to actually check that out. Haven't seen it, didn't really care too much about it, but if I could watch that match, I will watch that match, and I think that I will like that match. And the Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, how could I forget? I know the ending. I know that that Roman Reigns is the undisputed unified champion, which is, I'm glad that they unified those two belts. Hopefully they'll be done with that whole brand split and the draft and all that stuff, because I never liked that idea. Didn't make any sense when you would do that and then a week later a SmackDown guy would be on Raw anyway. So I do want to check out that match. From what I understand, a lot of people were disappointed in the match, and they were, of course, everybody's an expert once again in saying, Brock got hurt and they called an audible, and they, everybody's, speculating that. I don't even know if it's true. I didn't watch the match, and if I did watch the match, I don't know if I would probably know by watching, but I have a trained eye, and these guys are all, out there, no, it wasn't supposed to end like that, and, they hurried up, and they rushed it, and it was because this guy, he was hurt, and this was that. It's like, man, listen, guys, you don't know what it's like, because I'm sure there's been plenty of times that people have worked through an injury, and you didn't even know it. Because you don't know, man. You're not in the business. I don't mind if you're a fan and a big fan and Mark or whatever you want to call it. But if you ain't been in the business, don't act like you've been in the business. Don't use wrestling lingo And really, man, God, don't use wrestlers' real names, man. Don't talk about congratulations, Mark, in your Hall of Fame. You know his name is Undertaker. You don't know him personally. I don't use wrestlers' real names, even the ones that I know personally. I don't call them by their real names. I still call Santino Boris, because that's how I know him, man, from down in OVW. I don't talk to people, and I feel it's disrespectful, man. And it's like back in the day, man, wrestlers' real names weren't, you never even knew wrestlers' real names. And now everybody's all calling people by their real names, and, just somebody calling Roman Reigns Joe. I didn't even know who the hell they were talking about at first. Don't call him Joe, man. It's like he's not Joe. When you watch him in the ring, okay, you're watching him as that character. You're watching him perform, okay? His name is Roman Reigns. Why are you referring to him as Joe? It's not Joe that's in the ring. It's like you watching your favorite show, right? And or your favorite movie, and the character's name is, like, let's say James Bond, right? You're not going to talk about James Bond. You're going to say James Bond was awesome, whatever. James Bond, was a badass, whatever. You're not going to say, whoever is playing James Bond, you're not going to call him by the real name and say, oh, so-and-so, in this part of the movie, so-and-so, shot this person. No. James Bond shot that person. Okay? So, nobody's saying, okay, Stone Cold came out. Stone Cold Steve Austin. If I hear one person say Steve Williams, I'm going to smack him right in the mouth. Yeah, that's right. Like that. Give him a Will Smith right in the mouth. Yeah, you knew I had to say it, didn't you? Yeah, I did. Well, that's about going to wrap it up for me for now. And when I remember more things, and I've watched a couple things, we are going to be discussing a lot of it on Thursday, including whatever happens on Raw tonight, because it's Monday morning here in Las Vegas. And so that has not yet happened. But the Raw after WrestleMania is usually something to talk about. So I will get details and highlights and whatever on that. Ain't gonna watch it, because I'm sure there's gonna be more of what I don't want to see than things that I do want to see. But I will, that's the beauty of the internet. That's the beauty of fast forwarding through things that you don't want to watch. You know what I'm saying? I don't watch disasters, man. I don't watch the news, and I don't listen to the media, and I don't watch wrestling unless it's something that I feel I need to know about. And there's a lot of things I don't need to know about. There's a lot of things that upset me. They legitimately will get me in a bad mood when I hear about certain things. Wrestling is a very, very, very big passion of mine. Believe it or not, I could hate it and still have a passion for it. But there's things that are, when things are so nostalgic that it actually, like, makes me sad that it's no longer like that. I actually feel sad. And it's hard for me to watch when something is over, something is gone and in the past, and then they kind of like revisit it. Sometimes I get a little sad when I watch some of my, my old stuff, man, my old DVD stuff and my old, stuff on YouTube that's from the 90s and from the 80s, man. It's like, I love it and I'm entertained by it, but, I get the same way when I watch an old show that I used to really love. It's very hard for me to watch like season finales and things like that, man. It's almost like it's like a breakup, you know what I mean? It affects me emotionally, and wrestling is a very big passion of mine. So when things that I loved are gone and replaced by things that I don't love about it, it bothers me. But that's just my passion for it, man. Say what you want. I knock wrestling a lot. I knock WWE. It's my opinion, but you got to understand that I got a right to that opinion because I've lived it, man. I've been a part of wrestling. I was a fan my whole life, man. Started out as a fan at 10, 10 or 11, started wrestling 10 years later, wrestled for 15 years, and even, now that I don't even know how long it's been that I was officially done wrestling, but I'm still very much involved. You know what I mean? I'm doing this, the impersonator thing. I deal with the same people. Unfortunately, I deal with promoters, and you know how that could be. So, I got every right to have my passion still burning. But whatever I didn't touch on, it's because I didn't care. And whatever I forgot that I do care about, and whatever does happen on Monday Night Raw will be discussed on Thursday night on the Motchcast on YouTube. Check your local listings, and I'll see you on Thursday. And right about now, Motch is out. Have a good Monday, yeah.